Welcome to Andorks, the podcast where every week we'll analyze and scrutinize the Star Wars series Andor 7 minutes at a time. My name is Rusteen Honardoost.
And I'm Alex Wallenetz.
Previously on Andor, young Kassa came face to face with the mining disaster that trapped him and his sister on Kenari, while in the present, Primor security put out the call for information on the Kenari male who resides on Ferrix, leading to an angry conversation between Cassian and his mother, Marva.
Marva. Well, I guess we didn't do any Marva impressions, B2 impressions last week. We could catch up on them now. Shall we hop right in?
Yeah, let's just get right into it.
So yeah, we start with Bix sitting at a bar on Ferrix, and then Cassian walks in.
A bar from a long line of seedy bars in Star Wars.
Yes, there's a lot of drinking in Star Wars.
Yeah.
People love drinking. There's these giant, look like beer brewing canisters. Yeah.
It's a very industrial space,
yes,
this
exactly.
bar. Like it's made out of scrap from the planet.
Just like Iron Man in a cave, it's built out of scrap. So yeah, Bix tells Cassian that she saw the report from Primor about them looking for a Kenari male. Cassian sort of then explains what happened. I wasn't looking for a fight. And then he sort of immediately goes to, forget what I told you this morning. I will sell you the piece, the Sarpath unit.
Yeah, he's really, that conversation that he had with Marva has really scared him, I think. The fact that this APB is out there, and I am willing to bet he thinks a lot of people know it's about him and made it so that he's so desperate he will actually sell it to Bix rather than try to get as much money as possible.
He's looking manic. He's looking sweaty. Like I think we said this before, but he's on his Uncut Gems vibes of things are going bad and I'm starting to get really nervous about it.
Yeah, if in episode 1 he's like holding up the facade, in episode 2 we're seeing it cracking. If he's like the little kid putting his finger in the wall to plug the leak, now another leak has popped up and he's plugged that one.
I wasn't sure where you were going for a second. The kid plugging his...
There's the story.
Like the dike, yeah.
Is that what it's called? The dike?
Isn't it little kid in the dike?
Probably. I don't remember. I just remember a fat little kid puts his finger in a hole in the dam.
It's the little Dutch boy.
Yeah, the little Dutch boy.
I'm looking. It's the little Dutch boy.
There we go.
He puts his finger in the dike.
I said the little boy. I missed one word in there. I thought it was close.
Welcome to Dutch Boy, your favorite podcast about the Dutch boy who blocks a dike with his finger. Sorry, where were we? We were talking about
Cassian wants to just sell off this Starpath unit and get the fuck out of Ferrix, but Bix tells him that, it's too late. The buyer is coming. He's on his way now. And Cassian tells her that he won't forget this. And it gets pretty intimate between them. But at the same time, Bix is telling him to get out of here. And I think she is saying that knowing it probably means that she's never going to see him again. Like she's closing herself off emotionally.
Yeah, she's looking down. She's not making eye contact. Have we established so far what the Starpath unit is?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that when he actually goes to sell it.
Because right now, it kind of just feels like a red herring.
A little bit.
Yes.
It's like a bit of a MacGuffin-y kind of thing of just it's something valuable that he has been saving to sell in case of a rainy day.
Then we see, not only are we watching Cassian and Bix talking at this bar, but good friend Tim is watching from across the bar, and he does not like the vibe that he sees from this couple.
Which is funny because if he was more trusting of Bix, he would know what we know, having actually listened to this conversation, is that Bix is almost putting an end to their relationship at this moment.
For Tim.
Maybe not for Tim, but
for herself.
Yes. Which would then, make it easier for Tim to pursue a romantic relationship. But on the outside, Tim's jealousy only allows him to see that Bix lied to him about going to see Andor, and then that causes him to, get drunk and make bad decisions.
As we are all want to do. He takes a very dramatic swig.
Yes.
Before walking away, and the parenthetical is kind of like tense music playing.
He's getting white boy wasted because he's mad that he's just a side piece.
He's getting Ferrick's boy frisky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really should just be like a dun 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 that comes in after he takes that swip. And that's funny. The second after he leaves, Bix pushes away Cassian's hand, which is crept very closely to hers.
Exactly.
If Tim had just stayed a second longer, he would have seen something that would have made him feel more confident. And
that miscommunication in this love triangle that the show has set up in this first half of the first arc is really naughty and really causes so much trouble. It's just so elegantly done. I feel like doing this rewatch, I'm so much more empathetic to Tim than I was watching it in a faster progression where you see what he goes to do in this episode, which makes me hate him so much.
We'll get there. We only have so much, we have 7 minutes to talk about.
I know. No, but I'm saying like
not get ahead
in
of
this
ourselves.
moment, seeing him at this bar, realizing that he has, followed Bix and seen that she's lied to him. I understand why he's upset. And so I have more empathy for him in this moment recording this episode right now than I ever have rewatching. I've watched this first arc like 5 times now. So I have more empathy for him now than I ever have in the past.
I guess I have empathy for him. I still think he kind of sucks.
Oh, yeah. He absolutely sucks, as we're about to get into.
There's also a very small moment. I'll credit this. This is just good acting from Diego Luna. After she pushes his hand away, he kind of just like cradles his hand like it's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very subtle, like, what's the song from the Social Network soundtrack, Hand Covers Bruise.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's covering up the injury of him getting pressed away. It's a very little micro acting that really sells. He just feels like a little boy around her.
Yeah, in this episode, he's so vulnerable with Bix at the beginning of the scene when he comes in and says that he needs to get out of here as quickly as possible. And I think he's hoping for like one final bit of intimacy between the two of them to like keep his heart warm as he runs away. But she closes it off completely. And he now sees that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, the subtitles also point out that he sniffles, which we established last week. He seems to be sniffling a lot this episode.
Maybe whoever has to do the like subtitles, sniffles is like a repeat word for them.
And any sound emitting is a sniffle. Okay, and sniffles could be a Star Wars alien.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, that'd be a cute alien.
Size noodles and sniffles.
Sniffles would be like a little like yappy dog-like alien, I think.
Exactly. So then I
have an idea of a Sniffles. We'll get to it in 3 years.
Add it to the list. Remind me 3 years. So then as we see Cassian leave the bar, we then cut outside in a really good, maybe a little small joke of it being blurry.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera going from blurry to in focus as Tim takes a big swig from his flask as he walks down the streets of Ferrix.
He's getting crunk.
Yes. He then is walking around. He looks miserable. You can see the steam coming from his breath.
Mm-hmm.
He then takes another drink.
Yep.
Takes a whiskey drink. And he takes a vodka drink. Drinks a lager drink. And he drinks a cider drink. And then he sees a phone booth that reminds him of a good time. I'll stop there. So yeah. Once again, we see another round door. So many round doors in Ferrix.
Mm-hmm.
He then just bumbles his way forward to what it's called? I guess it's like a phone booth building.
On Wikipedia, they call it a communication terminal, which I think the individual phone booth that it is. And it's basically like a block of phone booths, each with their own little like dividers between them.
It just looks like the downstairs like a bus depot.
Yeah.
Of just there's a bunch of phone things coming up.
I mean, there are like, this is like a transportation hub area as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is where like the bus to Ferrix gets in and there's the phone booths to make a call back and say like, should I buy these parts, blah, 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 like that.
There's something stylistically, it's just, they're not too close, but they're very close to just like a 1980s phone booth.
Yeah.
And it's like there's something very funny about seeing that translated into Star Wars visuals.
That anachronistic technology of like they can travel in hyperspace, but they don't have cell phones. They are in the future, but it is always stuck in a 1970s future.
Exactly.
That even the future of Star Wars is still the past is really funny.
Not to change subjects, but I've been watching Alien Earth.
Uh-huh.
And I think that show is also kind of stuck in the same, like, we have to stick to the visual lore of the show that exists, even though they're building androids, but their computers only have 8 colors on them.
Yeah. Yeah, the computer screens that we see throughout Andor are always big, chunky CRTs, and these communications terminals have these big, huge buttons on them. It's like, how could you possibly call a galaxy's worth of people using 9 buttons? The phone numbers in the Star Wars universe must be insanely long.
Okay, so I'm looking at now. Are those buttons? No, those are speakers. There's even less than 9 buttons. There's like 4.
Oh, there's only 4? I was wrong.
There's 4. There's 4 white ones, 2 red ones, and 1 big yellow one. Also next to Tim is very funny. One of our alien friends that we saw earlier, he's definitely not what we thought he was. We thought he was.
He was the one that we thought he was a Duros, but he definitely is not. I genuinely have never seen an alien like this before. This must be like, concept art alien that they like have these masks and just like threw him into this scene.
But they give him a little visor, which is fun.
The little visor hat thing that he has is super cute.
There's also this incredible little micro moment of the guy next to him is on the phone, sees Tim approach, and then covers the phone with his hand and then turns away to hide his phone call. It's very funny.
Yeah, he's calling like his mistress or something and doesn't want anyone to listen in.
Whoever extra came in, that's an incredible choice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Tim is making a phone call, and he calls a 1-800 number, and he says his name is Bob. We had a baby. It's a boy. Do you remember those ads?
No.
You never seen the Bob? We had a baby. It's a boy.
No.
Oh God, there was an ad where
it's like a payphone.
Yeah, well, it was a Geico ad, and it was somebody calling a collect call to somebody who didn't want to pay for the call, so he was just calling his parents, and they're like, "Would you like to receive a call from Bob? We had a baby. It's a boy." And
hilarious. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
That's what the other guy is doing.
I hope anyone that listens to this that gets that reference, I don't sound like an insane person. So yeah, he's bathed in the blue light of the payphone, and then we move over to our next scene.
Yeah, because Tim is calling in information on Andor to the Primor security, and we go over back to Morlana 1, where those Primor analysts are working their overtime that they weren't sure Cyril was going to be able to actually get approved, and they are analyzing the information that Tim has now provided from them, and they say, but it says he's from Fest, and they think like maybe this is like a prank call, like Bart Simpson is calling in to Primor security. His name's Seymour, last name Asses.
Seymour Butts.
Seymour Butts, is that what it is?
I don't think they allowed asses on.
You're right. Seymour Butts. This is now showing Primor actually finding Andor. She then goes and recounts Andor's arrest record, insurrection, destruction of Imperial property, assault on an Imperial officer, but they're kind of skeptical that this is the guy.
Yeah, we get a floating little 3D head of him, which again, it's funny. Computers have 2 colors, but yes, they're able to project a perfect 3D image.
Well, they have, we've seen projectors, holograms in Star Wars from the very beginning.
So, I mean, he has a rap sheet. He's had this is his prison photo.
And at the beginning of this scene, they even say, like, did you call him? And it's like, yeah, I called him. Yeah, I told him he's on his way up. And Cyril practically, like, runs into the scene, like, out of breath because he's so excited that they, like, finally have some information, and he gets his first look at a young Cassian Andor. It is like a slightly de-aged picture of him.
But they're face-to-face for the first time.
Mm-hmm. They're face-to-face, and I think at this moment, Cyril, in his heart, knows that this is him. I do wonder if that was just a picture of anybody. Would he think that?
Sure, I think he's just he's Javert, and he's found his Jean Valjean, and this is going to drive him to insanity.
Yes, exactly.
I'm going to be making a lot of Les Mis references throughout the history of this podcast. Get ready.
And then the end of the scene is that then our DD Pickles hostess walks in to then what we will see is to then confirm that this is indeed the man that they are looking for.
She gives a real, like, what do you want face, which is, again, some incredible acting throughout the show.
Yeah.
We are then back on...
One note on this
Please,
scene
go ahead.
just before we finish.
Again, we have plenty of time.
I just love seeing these analysts kind of working. They seem to be both kind of getting into it a little bit. Like, they actually seem to, like, think it's cool that they're actually getting information, but at the same time, they are so worried about this, like, petty tyrant of Cyril who is coming in and also making their lives hell. Like, I'm sure they would rather not be here tonight, but it is working.
Yes.
You know, like, as Cyril is pushing, he is right that if we, like, put the call out, you don't know what's going to come back. And they were quick to shut that down in the way that any company does love to shut down, like, a new idea because it's going to just create more work for them.
Yeah, no, he's pushing the system. The Empire has all these incredible resources. He's pushing it to get these results, but there's such a malaise and such a disinterest in following up these tactics, whether that's just in these little low-rent private enterprises or whether that is a disease that is infecting the Empire writ large, which it is. It is turning into a sclerotic entity that it's impossible to control all of this entire galaxy centrally. It's just too much. The Republic had the same problem. So we are seeing that you can use those levers of power, but it requires such a huge amount of intensive energy and everybody to be so committed.
Yeah.
Which is impossible to build with a fascist system. Eventually, you just can't get everyone to care that much.
Yeah. And it also only works because of this selfishness of Tim trying to get revenge on Cassian. If Tim was more trusting in Bix, Cyril's plan would not work.
Yeah.
Cyril's demand, like, call for information only works in a world where people selectively share information with the police to hurt people that they don't care about.
There also wouldn't be a show. If Tim doesn't make that call, the show ends at middle of episode 2. And thanks, everybody. That was Andor.
But this is also the moment where I hate Tim now, and I will never forgive him and like him as a character.
So yeah, we're back on Ferrix. Tim is in his little office home, surprisingly with another drink.
Oh yeah.
He's really knocking them back tonight. And he gets a knock at the door, and who could it be? He does his little buzzes. Bzz, bzz. As good is, and then Bix, pretty drunk.
Yes.
You could say it, goes, is it too late?
Oh, yeah. This is clearly a routine the two of them have gone through before, where during the day, Bix puts up these boundaries on their relationship, but then when Bix wants a booty call, she'll, when she wants to when she feels bad about herself, she shows up at Tim's door. And Tim is happy to, be the receptacle of that need for attention.
My light was on. That's what he says.
Almost like he left it on for her.
And then she does a very seductive taking her jacket off in front of him.
Yes. And then they kiss, and it's like the most sexual thing we have literally ever seen in Star
Wars. We've had kissing before, but it hasn't really been like passionate kissing.
Yeah, exactly. And this did inspire me to have to open up an incognito window to search sexuality in Star Wars canon.
Let's take a...
Because I wanted to... Because in this scene, Tim and Bix, they fuck.
No, sorry. If we could encapsulate Rusteen as a figure... I saw two people kissing on screen, and I opened a private window on my browser to open Wikipedia. So your partner Googling. Your partner cannot see you Googling. What, you're scared? Oh, you were scared that you're gonna get like the algorithm would just put you sex in Star Wars, and you would just get
that. I Googled it that way, yes, and it immediately brought up every Rule 34 website on the internet. And so I just wanted to separate out these Google searches to not clog my Google search history.
The job of Mpreg.
Yeah, because this is a scene where we see Bix and Tim like get together. They are going to fuck after this. This is the closest Star Wars has ever come to showing people having sex. And Star Wars...
Do you think Lobot has an OnlyFans?
No, he's like a administrator. He like runs people's OnlyFans.
Okay, he's the one that's actually responding to the DMs.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. He responds to the DM. Yeah, because I was just curious. Like, Star Wars is a show as a property that has a lot of characters, falling in love. There's some kissing.
There's babies.
But it never gets this close. There's babies. There are characters who have canonically had sex, but it never happens on screen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the entire prequels were about.
Exactly. I do have a little quiz for you. Can you name the characters who have canonically had sex in Star Wars?
Han and Leia.
Yeah.
Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
There's
only really one more.
Bail Organa did not fuck because they adopted.
Yes.
So that's not Bail Organa.
Not Bail Organa.
Canonically fucked. Give me a second.
And not including, we have Bix and and Tim and Andor.
Who else has
the only person with more than one sexual partner, as far as we know? Although, except for maybe number 5.
Yaddle?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting consumed with funny answers and not trying to think of the actual answer.
It might be a funny answer that is the correct one.
Oh, Chewie.
Chewie
has a son.
We don't know that was his son.
Yes, we do.
Do we know that that's his son?
Lumpy?
The holiday special is not canon.
The show has... We've discussed this. I think they've implemented aspects of the Star Wars...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the whole holiday special.
Is his son Lumpy?
Lumpy is his son.
Chewbacca Fox.
It falls under a secondary level of canon superseded by other licensed works. So it is not... Although Lucasfilm maintained its status as part of the continuity. Okay, fine. There is one more. And it's Palpatine.
No, we don't know. He could have had it extracted.
No, that is a biological son. I'm pretty sure it says.
The one that
then had Rey is his son.
I don't know. I think some weird mystic stuff was happening there.
Maybe.
Oh, I just want to talk about Lumpy now.
We'll do Andorks holiday special later. That would be amazing if we did that 7 minutes at a time.
We should do that 1 minute at a time.
Do we have anything else to add? The only other thing about, again, this depiction of sex in Star Wars, the only other kind of interesting parallel to point out is that, both the Jedi and the Empire enforce a pretty rigid vow of kind of celibacy between its adherents. Like, the Jedi are not allowed to fuck.
Yeah.
And cadets and people in the Empire are also not allowed to fuck. So I thought that was kind of interesting that both of those systems of power in the Star Wars universe close down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a power of control. It's a way of controlling people and making sure they don't build bonds outside of the unit that they are responsible to. And
that's why Bix is here, is that she is trying to create some feeling of connection with somebody, even if it's not somebody who she feels as warmly towards as Andor.
Yeah, besides them, when her walking over to the bed and him standing in the corner is not very erotic. He's got a little cuck chair vibe to him.
I think that he's really stressed out and feeling guilty, but I don't think he necessarily feels guilt towards Andor, but rather he's more saying shit, if Bix finds out I did that, she's going to be really, really mad at me.
That makes sense. Not that he's just drank too much and is worried about his performance.
Could be. He needs a minute in the bathroom to warm up.
So then we zip away from Ferrix.
Oh, yeah. We zip back to Ferrix. We see a little Roomba droid kind of skitter through the security office.
Wait, sorry to interrupt. You reminded me about something.
Okay.
Which is last week's episode.
Yeah.
I talked about Lando having sex with a robot.
Yes, we did talk about that.
And you promised me that when we came to sex about this, we would discuss robot autonomy.
I meant more just sex in Star Wars.
Oh, I know what you meant, but we're going to talk about it now. Get on Wikipedia and Google sex with robots.
Incognito window. Star Wars sex with droids.
Sorry, droids.
Yeah, get it right.
What are you finding? Some live Google results.
Okay. There's one post I'm reading that says Star Wars High Republic novel has Lando talking about a droid and orgy. Oh, another thing that could happen? Lambo rambled, chuckling to himself. like a droid orgy of some kind, but with astromechs and those old battle droids from the Clone Wars. And then they could make like Astro Battle droid babies. That would be something. Oh, this is an author? Oh, this is just like somebody making a joke. This stupid subreddit. Annoying.
Oh my God. I forgot that the Phoebe Waller-Bridges character in Lando is literally leaked.
Yes. L337, baby.
Millennials were a mistake.
Yeah, there is a droid in Knights of the Old Republic who is a protocol droid to a widow. And she turns him into a kind of sex slave. And he asks for your help to get out of it. And you have to choose whether or not to help him.
I will read this essay for the next episode. Have you found this essay?
No.
Droids, sex, and consent, should it, quote, work?
Wow.
Jonathan Kasdan stated in an interview with the Huffington Post that he would say that Lando was pansexual and that he loved the fluidity, sort of the spectrum of sexuality that Donald appeals to and what droids are a part of. Donald Glover would jump on board saying, how can you not be pansexual in space?
I mean, he's not wrong. It does look like there were sex droids in the Legends canon, but I don't see anything for the current canon other than Lando.
I mean, yeah, I guess sex droids, I kind of assumed. I meant more just like developing a relationship with a droid not designed for that task.
I mean, you can fall in love with anything.
That's true.
People are falling in love with ChatGPT and blowing up their marriages because ChatGPT said they love them.
ChatGPT doesn't love me?
Alex, you need to take a
Grok?
sit down.
No, Grok, no.
No, Grok does love
Oh, okay,
you.
thank God, okay.
Grok will tell you the truth, but ChatGPT is a lying hussy. Have we satisfied your...
No, I'll never truly be satisfied, but I'm glad that we addressed it a little bit. I'm glad that the vacuum robot prompted this conversation.
Yeah, well, you don't want to see what people get up to with the vacuum robot.
It sucks and blows.
Oh, yeah, baby. Well, speaking of sucks, Sergeant Linus Mosk enters the scene and immediately starts sucking up to Cyril. He is played by Alex Ferns, and these two are just peas in a pod. And it's clear that, Cyril has been burning the midnight oil on his hunt for Andor, but Mosk calls it a privilege to get the call to crack some skulls in the middle of the night. Cyril wants to act quickly to apprehend Cassian, and Mosk couldn't agree more. Cyril asks him, how many men do we need to arrest one suspect? And Mosk tells him we should bring 12. And then he asks Cyril, will you be suiting up with us? And he has this kind of nervous look in his eye, but he says, I think I should, right? And Mosk gleefully says, yes, you should. Show of force, boost morale. Nothing like seeing an officer on the line, which is just Cyril is not a figure that inspires confidence.
No, but my note here was Mosk and Cyril are just two dumb bitches telling each other exactly.
Yes. Classic comic duo of big guy, little guy.
Yeah, we've had the first episode had big guy, little guy at the bar. We've now had big guy, little guy again.
Mm-hmm.
Also, incredible sideburns.
Oh yeah,
for Mosky here.
Mosk is so round. He's so good.
No, I mean these are the two freaks in the office who he's nobody else wants to talk to, but they have found a kindred spirit in each other, and it's if they were not two pieces of shit, it would be very endearing. Yeah,
and Cyril is just so happy to finally have someone who isn't telling him he's an idiot for believing so hard in going after Andor. And meanwhile, I think Cyril is motivated by a sense of duty towards Primor and the Empire, whereas Mosk seems like a much more classic fascist, that he joined the corporate tactical forces because he wants to kick in people's heads.
Yes.
He wants to kick hippies.
Cyril's a little bit more naive.
Yeah.
He just he doesn't understand. It's not out of a political violence. He just wants power, and he wants things to be orderly and normal, and he wants to be lauded for that. He wants approval. He doesn't necessarily want
And
violent.
Mosk is happy to give it to him. He tells him how he goes into his own like little monologue about how Primor's security is dropping the ball. These half measures, the take it slow, the wait and see. It's a plague on discipline. Face your men, yourself, the rest of your life, knowing you did less than everything you possibly could. I've been saying all along we need a stronger hand with these affiliated planets. And then he goes into his line. There's fomenting out there, sir. Pockets of fomenting.
Pockets of Fomenting is definitely the name of this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final capstone of his little monologue is corporate tactical forces are the Empire's first line of defense, and the best way to keep the blade sharp is to use it. And that is like the fascist mindset in a nutshell of like the best way to keep ourselves safe is to kill our enemies, before they can hurt us.
Yeah, if Cyril is on 4chan, I think Mosk is on Stormfront.
Yes.
I think that's the difference between the two of them.
Mosk grew up in like white supremacist rallies. He was in a little baby carriage.
He grew up in the suburbs, which also is kind of a one-for-one there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And Mosk isn't wrong. On the one hand, it is kind of self-aggrandizing that these two losers are here saying, we're just as brave as the real troops are, with our little security officer uniforms on. But on the other hand, they're not wrong that, the entire history of policing comes from what we would call corporate tactical forces,
Yeah, I mean, it's derived from the slave trade and finding errant slaves. It's designed, it's connected to commerce, it's connected to capitalism, which is why we've talked about this a lot, but like starting this, introducing the concept of a private corporate force and embedding us there is such a great example. And in the same way, it's not, they are spending tons of money, clearly, but they're not really producing great results. There's a rot at the core of this system that is not really getting the results, which is just downstream of there's a very good Lindsay Ellis video about this. I don't know if you've seen it, about the ideology of the New Order, which is that even the Empire lacks an ideology.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I guess it's vaguely human supremacist, but there is no, besides just taking power, there is no real political ideology to the Empire.
Yeah.
Besides a vague fascist control of putting the power in one man, there's not let's talk about, I guess it is sort of like there's a little bit more safety in it, I guess, is the Empire's promising to people, or, just...
Peace and order is like the line that gets used a lot.
But besides recreating the Empire, it's the Republic, but efficient, I guess is sort of their pitch.
Yeah.
The show, Andor did not exist in 1977. It would not really go into that deep of what the ideology of it is, but I think it's an interesting question of what is it about this project that it interests someone like Mosk? And how many people who are there who are just doing it as their quiet quitting jobs of just, I'm here to get my 9 to 5 and then go home.
Exactly.
Like, the Empire is not instilling a level of, this is not Starship Troopers. They're not building an army of people who are ready to go gung-ho.
Yeah. I was just watching another Lindsay Ellis video, the video about Miss Rachel and like this war on empathy. And she was talking about how in a genocide, you have the people who are the rescuers who go out there and try to help people. And then there are the perpetrators and there are bystanders. And eventually bystanders have to choose which side they're on. And I think in Primor, we see both perpetrators who are active perpetrators like Mosk, who are eager to be a part of the fascist organization. And then you also see people who were maybe bystanders and are just like, well, I need to have a job.
Yeah.
So I may as well just work for the company that controls everything else, because that's where everybody else works. And I may as well just work here. And every once in a while I have to like get some random guy arrested. Who knows whether he's guilty or not. But it's a living.
Yeah, choosing to work over your that match your politics is a privilege that a lot of people can't afford.
Yeah.
They are stuck in a system where if you are, we're gonna go. I guess we can go deep with this, but is every German person in World War II a Nazi? I think is a tricky question. I don't think there is a clear answer of just because you are complicit in what your government is doing, does everyone have to be a John Brown?
Yeah.
Fighting down and beating down what's happening. Is that something to expect of everybody? I don't know. I want to introduce some level of nuance that people are not, people are not the, I don't know, this is a very ethical question, but are people good or not is a question I don't think Andor is going to answer. But the show is, again, it's introducing these concepts and it's introducing these questions, which is what makes the show so good.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing how this corporate bureaucracy is populated by people who are just treating this as a job.
Right.
Chief Inspector Hines was maybe managing like some kind of imperial plant, and now he works as the chief inspector. These analysts could have just as easily been working, any other kind of shitty office job, but instead they're here. And with Syril and now Mosk, we're going to see how much damage a real kind of ideological fascist can do within that same bureaucracy that these other people kind of see as benign.
Yeah, I think it reminds me a little bit of the dynamic within the Republican Party, especially in the 90s and 2000s, where you have this sort of rabid, evangelical, fascist-based sort of part of the coalition, but like being pressed into the corner of, we'll take your votes, we'll take your energy momentum, but you will not be influencing the top line of our policy. And sort of seeing, like, how can we get as juice out of these people without really giving them what they want?
Yeah.
And eventually that if you let those people into the party, they will start to build up and build up until you get Trump. You get, like, that is the manifestation of what is the beating heart of your party, but for so long the elites will push back as much as they can to prevent this. And, like, I don't think there's a reason why Syril and Mosk are not higher up in the chain than they are.
Yeah.
My guess is most of the middle bureaucracy finds them incredibly annoying.
Yes.
And don't really want them in positions of power. You get promoted by doing your job as it's asked and moving up a step. You don't need to be a self-starter finding rebels and finding these things. It's just follow the bureaucracy, keep moving up the ladder.
Yeah. Mosk at one point says something along the lines of how, like, he's been asking to do stuff like this and no one ever listens to him. He then says, pass along your kind words to the chief inspector for finally doing something about this. And Syril says he'll be happy to, which we know is a lie because the chief inspector told him exactly not to do this.
Yes.
And I think in this moment, Syril is picturing the exact moment where he is going to get the promotion to be chief inspector.
Exactly.
By virtue of what they're about to go do.
Yeah, in his mind, the previous is crying in the corner as he's been like pulled. He gets his badge ripped off, his jacket gets put on him. He's imagining the end of A New Hope where he's going to get awarded.
Yeah. He absolutely thinks there's going to be an award ceremony at the end of all of this for him.
How do we want to get back into this?
We have this kind of final moments of Marva worrying about Andor and Cassian getting the Starpath unit.
So Mosk and Syril are having a little conversation, and then he gives them a little salute.
Yes.
And walks away in one of the funniest walks I've seen on the show, which might as well have a baby elephant walk going along as he goes just doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. Do. Bye. Now we're back with the Marva and B2 Emo are hanging back out in their cozy little freezing apartment, and she looks concerned.
Yeah, she's like rubbing her thumb into her hands, and we return to this scrapyard, and we see Andor like with a flashlight, and he like bangs to open up he bangs a piece of this destroyed ship to open up a secret compartment, and he pulls out this Starpath unit that we've been hearing so much about.
It's hidden in a little piece of cloth, and it's the thing that we've been talking about for 2 episodes.
And we finally see it. And it's nice and shiny. It's got the Imperial. We see the Imperial seal on it. So we know, that this is legit.
It's a box.
Let's
call it what it is. It's a box.
But it's a shiny box.
It's a shiny box.
In that classic thing of like Star Wars tech that like it's a big chunky object, It's not like a little thumb drive or something like that. It's not a floppy disk. This is like a physical thing that you hold on to. And Andor sits down, and I think in this moment where, you know, he's alone in the room, he's getting ready for the day, he puts it into a bag, he pulls out his gun. It's a very like Paul Schrader-y kind of moment of like man alone in a room, and we get to see who he is in the way that he carries himself when no one else is watching.
Which era Schrader? There's a lot of Schrader-esque figures that.
I think this is you know, Taxi Driver era, not recent era. Although I did recently hear that Paul Schrader was at Waltz, which is Waltz is a pinball bar
that
here
would
in
make sense.
Los Angeles, and a friend of mine saw him there with some other younger people in the back of Waltz, which is just like a really funny celebrity sighting.
No, I'm just like, when you say Schrader-esque, I'm like, are you talking about hardcore? Like what?
I mean, like, maybe not like First Reformed, but like light sleeper.
Okay,
you
that makes
know?
sense.
Yeah, he's like very like Willem Dafoe in that he is gearing up for war.
What would a Schrader Star Wars look like?
God.
Besides incredible.
Besides weirdly horny.
The Facebook post alone would be incredible.
The poor Disney marketing team would have their work cut out for them, reining in his Facebook posts. You know, if you asked him, he'd probably post some like AI pictures of like what a Schrader Star Wars would look like.
He's
Unfortunately,
working on a Frank Sinatra biopic.
he's working on a lot of stuff.
I know,
Is
but
he
that would be
actually
incredible.
doing it? That sounds great.
That would be wonderful.
Is he going to direct it?
I don't know. It's an unproduced project.
I think he has a lot of unproduced projects.
But that would be incredible.
It would be. But yeah, this is our last moments of this episode of Andor. You know, like I said before, he is really the facade of tough guy Andor in episode 1. This guy who is very charismatic and can kind of talk his way out of anything has, I think at this point, completely shattered. And he is reconciling with that at this like halfway point of episode 2.
And in our last moments of the scene, if you put on the subtitles, can you guess what it says?
Sniffles.
Sniffles.
God, there's not that much sniffling happening in this show.
Whoever transcribed this really loves the onomatopoeia. I guess it's thinking of sniffles as a universal onomatopoeia. Someone get that man a Kleenex.
It's all scrap. They don't have Kleenex on Ferrix.
Is there a whole planet that makes tissues?
Probably.
Yeah, there has to be.
That's the way Star Wars economies work. Every planet has one thing that they make, and they import everything else. Which, you know, if you want to dig into it, could be imperialist.
Yeah, I mean, I think
intentionally imperialist.
From a economic thing, you have to think about these different planets as countries.
Yeah,
because once you think of like how does a planet self-sustain itself, makes zero sense.
Yeah,
that like each planet has its own different thing. It's like how big are these planets? Like the size of a country. Like planets have whole biomes, and it doesn't make any sense. You just have to think of them as countries. That's how I get around it.
Each planet basically has like one country's worth of city in it, and then maybe there's like outlying areas that people live in. I imagine Ferrix as being like one major city, and then everything else is a scrapyard. And you probably like have to fly out to some of those like scrapyards and dumps way out back on the other side of the planet. But yeah, it is one of those things that as grounded and realistic as Andor is, it can't change that fact.
Yes.
That like this is the scrapyard planet.
Yes.
And later we're gonna get the silk fashion planet.
What if France was a planet?
What if France was a planet? Which is again, like you're saying,
yes.
Every planet is just a country.
Yes.
Which is why they all have like senators and stuff.
If anybody is like an actual like thinking of the right word, like a
astronomer?
Not astronomer, but like understands how planets work.
Sure.
Like could explain to us how it's possible that these planets are just a city.
I don't think it makes any sense.
Okay.
Well, the fact is we only have one planet that sustains life as far as we know. So it's kind of hard
not for much longer at the rate we're going.
It'll sustain life, just not human life. which is maybe how we get to Star Wars. Who knows?
The Star Wars happened already.
That's true. It did happen already. Fuck. It's all downhill from here. Any final thoughts?
Just need to check one thing. No final thoughts besides we've now done 49 minutes of Andor.
Okay.
And we've got just 925 more to go.
925. We're going to hit 800 before you know it. We are now at the halfway mark of episode 2. Stay tuned next week for part 3 of episode 2, which is going to be our introduction
No spoilers. Also, maybe next week we'll find out the title of That Would Be Me. We still don't know who me is.
We don't know who me is. We don't. If you want to find out who me is, you're going to have to rate, review, and subscribe.
It's very
Andorks.
philosophical of who is me. Am I me?
You have 1 week to think about who is me.
Email us with your thoughts of who is me.
Yeah, we should shout out the email, andorkspod@gmail.com, if you want to send in any questions, any thoughts, who you think me is, please write in or tweet at us. We are at andorkspod on all social media accounts.
Except for TikTok. We'll get there eventually.
Except for TikTok, where our brains are not rotted enough to know how to use that platform.
As good millennials, we are text-based posters, not visual posters.
Yes, exactly.
Bring back Vine. Okay.
All right. So yes, please rate, review, subscribe, follow us online, and we will see you next week for another episode of Andorks.
Woo! Bye, everybody.